Hello and good morning. Happy Thursday. Welcome to 10 a.m. Tea with Natalie. And it's also February 1st today, so we survived the first month of January. We are 1/12 through 2018. And so, congratulations, you've done it so far. How are you doing today? Are you reaching all your goals? Have your New Year's resolutions gone by the wayside? Let me know what's going on. I'm always curious to find out how everyone is doing. Today, I want to talk to you guys about immunity and your immune system. And so, cold and flu season is still in full swing. There is this very nasty respiratory bug going around Oregon right now. A lot of my patients have been afflicted. Luckily, for the time being, knock on wood, I have been able to avoid getting sick. And so, I kind of just want to clarify what strong immunity looks like and kind of talk a little bit about the immune system and how all that stuff kind of works from the Western perspective and from the, Asian medicine perspective. And we'll kind of really get into things today so you can get a little bit of a better understanding for how to take care of yourself. Because really, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So, healthy people get sick one time a year or less. Let me repeat that. If you are healthy, you will get sick once a year or less. If you are getting sick more than once a year, that is showing a sign of weak immunity, okay? And that needs to be something that you address. This is also related to how quickly you recover from your infections. So you shouldn't have a cough that lingers for weeks and weeks after you get sick. Your symptoms shouldn't kind of come and go where you think you're getting better and then you're sick again. It should be something that has like a start and end and it kind of neatly wraps up in a bow. And so if you are having issues with recovering from an illness, if you are having a frequent recurrence of illnesses, please see your healthcare provider and figure out what's going on there. There's a lot of different reasons why people have issues with immunity. And so making sure that you are doing the best to take care of yourself is really important. And don't try to self-diagnose with WebMD. Please go see a provider. That is, what we're here for. So from the Western perspective, immunodeficiency means a weak immune system. And this could be genetic. Some people have problems making white blood cells. Some people have, there's lots of different kind of clinical presentations for how that may look. Immunodeficiency can also be caused by medication. So this would be steroid medication, immunosuppressive medication for people who have had transplants. It can also be caused by diseases. Human immunodeficiency virus, which can lead to AIDS, is also a condition that causes the immune system to become weakened. And also co-occurs with different things. So people with allergies and asthma tend to have a higher incidence of colds and flus just because they have a kind of weaker respiratory tract there. And autoimmune disease, people typically have a presentation of a weaker immunity. And so lupus and rheumatoid arthritis and things like that can cause our body to not respond as well when we are exposed to a pathogen. From the Eastern perspective, it's pretty different. We're not necessarily looking at things through the same lens. So try not to kind of hold too tightly to the Western aspect and sort of let the Eastern aspect kind of flow in, okay? So from the Eastern perspective, your immune system is governed by a form of energy called qi, okay? That's body energy that we're kind of talking about in Chinese medicine to kind of sum it up in a really sort of simple, straightforward way. And so your defensive qi or your wei qi is your immune system, basically, from the Chinese medicine perspective. And it circulates at the surface of your body, and it helps to keep you warm. It helps to regulate your body temperature. It also helps to prevent pathogens from being able to kind of invade into your space. And from the Asian medicine, Chinese medicine perspective, the pathogens that we're talking about are not viruses, they're not bacteria. We are using a medical perspective that was before the time of microscopes, okay? So we're not looking at it from the same perspective. It's kind of more of a understanding based on the world that we live in. So in the Chinese medicine perspective, diseases are actually caused by pathogens that are likened to the weather. So for instance, wind, damp, cold, and heat are pathogens from the Chinese medicine perspective. Wind kind of reflects a little bit in the Western aspect from the aspect that the pathogens are passed through the air. Okay, it's very common knowledge that sneezing and coughing puts droplets into the air that then other people breathe in. Okay, so there's a little bit of a crossover with the wind piece. Wind also has to do with symptoms that kind of come on suddenly. So you were fine and all of a sudden you're freaking sick. And so that's really classic with a wind presentation. Dampness would be things that cause swelling, things that cause phlegm. Heat would be things that cause sweats and green phlegm. Fevers would be kind of related to more of a heat pathogen. And with cold, we see sensations of cold and clear phlegm. So there's, a variety of different disease causes from the Asian medicine perspective. There's a variety of causes from the Western medicine perspective. The names that we are using are not really crossing over, but that's okay because it's a totally different framework of medicine. And so from the Eastern perspective, your Wei Qi, your defensive Qi, your immune system is really based on kind of three big factors. The health of your lungs, which really correlates to, the allergies and asthma piece there, and, why people who smoke have a greater tendency for getting sick as well. The skin is also considered to be part of the lungs aspect in Chinese medicine because it's kind of the outer defense area. And this is the first area that's exposed to pathogens. So it makes a lot of sense there. It's also based on your kidneys. And so this is not necessarily your ability to filter your blood and produce urine. Kidneys in Chinese medicine have a much more broad kind of concept. And you can sort of loosely understand the aspect I'm talking about in regards to your overall constitution. Okay, so your kidneys are related to how strong you were when you were born. Did you have a good birth weight? Were you overall really healthy? Did you meet all those growth milestones? That would be considered someone who has an overall healthy constitution. A child who, had difficulty reaching certain milestones, a child who, maybe didn't pick up on things as quickly and shows a little bit more of a delay would be considered to have overall a weaker constitution. We also kind of see it in the perspective of, birth order. So the firstborn child, mom was at her strongest, so the firstborn child tends to have a stronger constitution. And then the subsequent children tend to have more issues with allergies and asthma and digestive things. Because as each pregnancy occurred, mom's body was a little bit more depleted and a little bit more depleted and a little bit more depleted by that whole pregnancy process. And so birth order can also have a little bit to do with how your immune system goes overall. But that's not something you can that's not something you can change. It just kind of can explain why you might have to work a little bit harder than someone who has a stronger constitution in order to stay healthy. Okay, it's not a death sentence by any means. It just puts into perspective, why it's so important to keep a good handle on things. And the third area that's really important for your defensive energy from the Chinese medicine perspective is really digestion. And so this is really regulated by the spleen and stomach. And so toxins, byproducts of metabolism that are not super healthy can build up in the system that causes everything to slow down. Also, your metabolism is how you kind of nourish your entire system. If you're not able to digest food and assimilate nutrients, you can't create energy to be defensive against anything. You can't really do much of anything at all besides, your mandatory living processes until you're too depleted to even do those items. So it's quite serious. So how do you improve your immunity? And we're definitely going to talk more about this tomorrow because it's too big of a topic to kind of chew on all at once. But there's basically two branches of your immunity that you would consider supporting. We have kind of the branch, which is the pathogen, working on fighting the germ that is causing havoc in the body, working on kind of stopping viral replication, stopping the bacterial replication, things that frankly just outright, kill pathogens. Those are commonly medications and herbs that are going to be focused at the infection at hand. Then there's also the aspect of addressing the underlying issues of deficiency in the body. So supporting nutrients and supporting lifestyle and supporting kind of the basic building blocks of your constitution will benefit your immunity because you'll overall be stronger and those pathogens will have a more difficult time taking hold in the system. So we're going to be definitely talking more about that tomorrow. A lot of different things you can do with your lifestyle, different things you can do with supplements. We're going to get into vitamin D and vitamin C and talking about different herbal products, including echinacea and elderberry and different things and Chinese herbs. So definitely tune in tomorrow for 10 a.m. tea. If you think that something we're talking about could help another person, definitely share this with them or tag them. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, even after the go live, definitely throw them in the comments here. I see everything and I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you have. And, you know, how are you doing this cold and flu season? Are you staying well? Are you getting sick? How is this going for you? Are you having lingering symptoms? Because if there's anything going on, we can always dig a little bit deeper and help you find the right answers for that stuff. So I hope that was helpful. I look forward to checking in with you again tomorrow, 10 a.m. tea with Natalie, every Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific. Have a fabulous day.